even though and although.
Okay, so these are like the negative forms, right? So your because and since are just causing some kind of causal relationship. This, therefore, that. The although and even though are kind of the opposite of that. This, therefore, not that, almost. Okay. So let's see.
For example, number 2.
2. Okay, we'll look at 3, but yeah.
Yeah, although.
No. Because we have a negative, right?
Because.
Although it wasn't dark in the.
Although.
See the double negatives. This is confusing. I don't like this in my head. I don't like this. Okay. Although it wasn't dark in the rainforest, you could see. Yeah, that would work here. This would be although, right? Although it was not dark in the rainforest, we have this negative form going on, right? She couldn't see very well. Okay. What does this mean? It wasn't dark. It means it's bright. It means there's light inside, right? But she still could not see well, right? Showing this positive, negative, positive kind of thing. Right?
I think you could replace it by even though.
Even though, yeah, I can.
Even though it wasn't dark. Yes, you could. Yeah, you could. Right, and then.
So in that case, we can use even though. So what is the difference between the even though and although?
It's almost the same as because and since. Almost nothing. Right? Right? Right. It's frustrating. I get it.
Okay, I understand that this although and even though is the most different is long word and short word.
Spelling.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As you know, in my ELT, one question I make in my ELT, sometimes they just accept even though they didn't accept although.
Yes.
The reality is really strict.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So there's the definition, just like so that I'm not saying crazy stuff. An adverb clause of contrast begins with conjunctions although or even though. It introduces, in other words, yes, both of them.
But like when you hold like on ELT, you know, when I put that word like it correctly, like, even though, but I put although they not work.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to see the question to know for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the problems that you have with the technology is that sometimes, in reality, both answers are acceptable, but they programmed the system to only accept one. Right? So that's just a programming issue. And I don't know. I don't program that stuff, so I don't know how that works. But I've run into that often. Okay. So, like here, right? Although golf is a popular sport, I don't like it. Even though golf is a popular sport, I don't like it. Same thing. Yeah, no difference. I went swimming even though the water was very cold. I went swimming although the water was very cold. Same thing. There's no difference. Sorry, this is very Brazilian. Brazilians do this a lot. Okay, that's not an American thing to do. Sorry. Even though I was sick, I went to work. Although I was sick, I went to work. Okay. Now there's anyway. It's almost the same thing. They're not 100% identical. But within this structure and what we're talking about here, they're probably 80% identical. In most of the situations, they're going to be perfectly fine to use either one. Okay. But the key with them, let's go back to that one. Was it this one? 8, yeah. Is that they have this negative, they have this switch going on, right? So they're using a negative here, but they're talking in a positive way, therefore that thing, down negative. Where's the other one I should do, right? Went, no. Oh, this one, right? A lot of people were swimming in the lake. Swimming's fun, we like fun, that's a positive, happy thing, right? The water looked dirty, that's a bad thing, right? So since we have a happy positive and then a down negative, although, right? Because it's showing a contrast. If it were, a lot of people were swimming, if I change this word dirty to clean, just change that one word, right? A positive word. A lot of people were swimming in the lake because the water looked clean, right? Now it fits. Do people swim in water that looks dirty? No, it's dirty. Don't do that. So therefore it has this negative, right, that's attached to it. It's still a cause and effect, it's still a reason structure, but it says positive to a negative or a negative to a positive or something. It has this contrast going on. This one I thought was kind of funny because it can be both, but it has a slightly different meaning with each one, right? Because city parks are popular, they're usually crowded. Cause effect, right?
Yeah.
Even though city parks are popular, even though a lot of people like them, they're usually crowded, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So both of them are right, but they have a slightly different feel. So with this one, right, going with because city parks are popular, they're usually crowded. That's just cause and effect. Lots of people like it, lots of people go there, it gets crowded. Statement of fact, right? It's not complex.
But I see because it's better.
What? You like because better? Okay. If I switch this though to even though city parks are popular, they're usually crowded. It has a different feel to it of, yeah, it's popular, people like it, it's good, but they're really crowded and I don't like crowded things.
Yeah, I think
It gives me this negative feel attached to it, okay?
It depends on the meaning of crowded.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It depends on the meaning of the person and what they're actually saying. This is a great example of where just changing one word can actually shift your meaning. And depending on what you actually want to say will change which words you're going to use. Okay? The idea you want to communicate. Good. Anything else? So I guess in summary, right? Because and since for causal relationship, this, therefore, that. Although and even though are this, therefore, negative, that contrast of something.